With the conclusion of both the College VALORANT and College League of Legends seasons, it's time to reflect on GGTech's first year of running Riot Scholastic tournaments. From falling registration numbers to disappointing broadcasts, many are disappointed in GGTech University Esports' first year running the beloved CLoL League and the up-and-coming College VALORANT League. But how did we get here? Buckle up. We're going to take you back in time to give you all the necessary context. In fall 2022, Riot Scholastic Association of America, RSAA, announced its inaugural College VALORANT season. Teams would select one of 4 regions to compete in, and each region was run by a different tournament operator. In the announcement, RSAA addressed the Season Operations RFP, Request for Proposal. We will work with a variety of third-party tournament administrators to bring the CVAL competition to life, the announcement reads. The first year of CVAL will be an opportunity for tournament organizers to get involved, build connections to regional communities, and demonstrate their operational excellence. Based on the numbers and quality of partners we work with, we'll make a decision about how to partner with providers to create the best overall experience for students and schools across CVAL for year 2 and beyond. Ahead of the fall split, the 4 selected tournament operators were revealed. Rally Cry ran the South region, Battlefy ran the East region, eFuse ran the North region, and Faceit ran the West region. The tournament operators ran their region on their own platforms and were only required to run 2 broadcasts at the end of each split, showcasing the grand finals. The inaugural split saw roughly 90 teams in the South, 213 teams in the East, 126 teams in the North, and 108 teams in the West. The season went off without a hitch, and despite fluctuating registration numbers, each tournament operator ran their broadcasts at the end of each split, and some created content as well. At the end of the 3 splits, eFuse was selected to run the online portion of the championships. This meant both the tournament operations and the broadcast operations. According to sources, eFuse's goal was to get every match on broadcast leading up to the live LAN finals, and they were successful in this feat. The championship was held in tandem with the CLoL championship, held at Riot Arena. Ahead of the championship, however, the Collegiate League of Legends community received bad news regarding the amount of teams going to the live LAN finals. On April 17, 2023, an admin for the league made an announcement regarding the live finals, writing, "In order to make our CLoL x CVAL event work, while fitting between LCS and VCT, we've had to make the decision to host quarterfinals online and only host top 4 in the studio for the LAN. Our hope is that this is only for this year and we can go back to top 8 CLoL LAN for next season. While it's not ideal, we're hoping that the combined force of the CLoL and CVAL communities coming together will make this a championship worth your support." The championship went smoothly, and St. Thomas and Northwood were crowned as champions for CLoL and CVAL, respectively. Over the summer, many wondered which tournament operator would be selected to run CVAL for year 2. On June 13, 2023, James Fudge for the Esports Advocate published an article called Sources. Riot Games sought third-party proposals to handle collegiate scholastic esports in North America. In the article, Fudge shared that Riot was seeking bids from companies interested in handling collegiate and scholastic esports in North America for League of Legends and VALORANT. Many sources familiar with the process claim that Ohio-based eFuse and Madrid-based GGTech submitted proposals, though one source tells TEA that eFuse withdrew its bid in May. He goes on to share that sources said that Riot would prefer that bidders show that they have at least $3 million USD, $1 million per year, in working capital on hand to administer a proper program. But another source claims that the $3 million is a payment to be made to Riot over the 3-year period instead. In summation, allegedly, Riot was looking for a company with $3 million on hand to run both CLoL and CVAL. And the only 2 companies who allegedly submitted proposals were eFuse, who ran the North CVAL region in its inaugural season, and GGTech, a company that did not operate a region in CVAL's inaugural season. According to their website, GGTech Entertainment is a technology company with projects relating to video games, esports, and education. GGTech worked and developed projects with Amazon, Intel, Riot Games, and Tencent Games. Their IPs include GamerG, an esports and gaming festival previously held in Argentina, Mexico, and Spain, and University Esports, where they claim to have engaged over 100,000 students and 1,300 universities around the world. North America is their latest expansion. Their technology products include eWorlds, an interactive online platform to play with friends in a 3D environment, and Quali, an esports platform to manage content, teams, and all kinds of competition projects. On June 20th, 2023, James Fudge for the Esports Advocate published an article called GGTech Entertainment Secures 12.4 million USD investment. In the article, Fudge writes, Spain-based GGTech Entertainment has secured a 12.4 million investment. While the investment is meant to strengthen its existing operations in Europe, the Middle East, North Africa, and Latin America, the focus of the releases emphasizes the company's plans to expand into the United States. And to complete the trilogy, less than 1 month later on July 18, 2023, James Fudge published yet another article for TEA, titled, Riot Games Confirms 3-Year Partnership with GGTech. In this partnership, GGTech would be taking over operations for both CLoL and CVAL. After a successful first season of Collegiate VALORANT, we are bringing all of Riot's collegiate esports in North America into one spot with the help of GGTech, an 8-year partner of Riot who is already supporting collegiate esports in EMEA and Latin America. Through the release shared with TEA, Riot claimed that not much would change in the collegiate competitions, sharing that the seasons would remain largely the same as previous years, including dates, formats, a live final event for both games, equal scholarship prizes as previous seasons, and the same overall goals of each competition. And in fall 2023, GGTech took over CLoL and CVAL. The first split of CVAL seemingly went well, until the broadcasts around the playoffs. There were 2 forfeits in the grand finals by Northwood and Blinn Esports, who did not show up to the grand finals match, allegedly because they were playing in other events with larger prize pools. In CVAL, the top 2 teams qualify for the championship at the end of 3 splits, and the only stakes for the grand finals is the 1,000 difference between first and second place. Crinkle Val, general manager for Mizzou Esports, shared a lengthy thread, writing, "No one cared about CVAL fall. And why should they?" In the thread, he went on to point out a slew of critiques of the overall CVAL league, pointing out that CVAL has no storyline and no fanbase, and critiqued the broadcast, writing, "The broadcast of CVAL only covered bits of the finals of each region, switching from match to match, and lacked endemic talent and staff. To add insult to injury, schools that made it to the losers' finals or grands were blocked from streaming, even if they had permission from the other team." On the forfeits, Crinkle wrote, "Just thoroughly confused and disappointed that what should be the most prestigious league is a second priority for elite teams because there are Tier 2 tourneys with more money, and they know they'll qualify for nationals anyway, so why not forfeit or show up late?" Another individual in the CVAL space shared their own criticisms in a lengthy Google document called GGTech, a disappointing debut. In the document, they shared that when they heard the news about GGTech taking over CLoL and CVAL, they reached out to GGTech to provide as much support as possible. They shared that they had a few discussions with GGTech officials and were told that information would be released later on. They went on to write, "This culminated in mid-November, when GGTech announced they were only going to be broadcasting the games from the East region. They were looking for community co-streamers to cover the remaining games in North, South, and West. I reached out to them to inquire about getting those games on CVH channels. I also requested compensation so we could get the games casted by talent. They stated it wasn't in their budget to compensate the co-streamers." They continued, "It was also announced that instead of only covering the East, they were going to cover all of the regions simultaneously. They planned to cover one game for one region and then cover the next region and so on and so forth. As outlined in Crinkle's thread, this means that teams are getting half the coverage of their own dedicated stream and, for the viewer, there would be no continuity." Following a disastrous end to the split, some had hope that GGTech could learn from their mistakes and correct for CVAL Winter. Registration closed on January 10th, which left very little time for the teams to register around the holidays with the new registration requirements. Teams were required to get a team verification document stamped by the university, which was not required in the previous season of CVAL. Additionally, with registration closing so early into the semester, it did not leave time for club teams to hold tryouts ahead of the split. As a result, registration numbers were low in comparison to CVAL Winter 2023. Rare Atom Casts and Brain Blast Val from Converse Esports did the math. The fall split had 386 teams, and the winter split had 215, resulting in a 44.3% decrease in signups compared to CVAL 2022, which had a 29.1% decrease from fall to winter. At the end of January 2024, Riot Games laid off over 500 employees. This set of layoffs affected TISA, a staple of the RSAA and CLoL community. As you may know, there have been a plethora of layoffs within the esports scene, affecting everyone from developers to pro teams and collegiate tournament organizers. In September 2023, eFuse, who ran the CVAL North region, laid off 30% of its workforce following the disastrous Creator League announcement. Part of those layoffs affected the College Call of Duty League team, an IP that eFuse acquired in fall 2021. Activision Blizzard laid off over 1,900 employees after their merger with Microsoft in late January. Epic Games laid off over 830 employees, 16% of jobs, which affected the Rocket League esports team in September 2023. All this to say, we're seeing a lot of layoffs, and a lot of publishers are choosing to outsource their college esports operations. Riot outsourcing CLoL and CVAL to GGTech, Psyonix outsourcing Collegiate Rocket League to eFuse, and now Activision Blizzard outsourcing College Overwatch to Radiant. Publishers are not running their own leagues anymore. Additionally, in April 2024, John, who worked in scholastic operations at Riot, announced that he was promoted to head of league operations for VCT Americas, writing, "I've been gradually transitioning my CLoL, CVAL, college club responsibilities and helping gear up everyone at University Esports over the past several months, but today's officially my last day on the college esports team at Riot. It is unclear if there is anyone still remaining as part of the RSAA team." Now, back to the CVAL Winter broadcasts. And, just like the fall split, CVAL Winter's broadcasts did not go without critiques. In a now-deleted thread, a critic shared, "What is going on with this CVAL stream? We're just randomly watching single rounds and bouncing around regions. Somehow, this is even worse than fall, when we had the casters jump between games. At least we could watch a whole map before being jerked to another region." They went on to write, "There's no way that it's more budget efficient to be having 5 separate streams with 4 of them being solo casted." College Esports News requested a statement from GGTech on criticisms around the broadcast. GGTech shared, "As this is our first year delivering college esports in North America, we knew it would be a learning experience. We are always attentive to feedback, as our goal is to provide the best viewing experience for fans. We learned a lot from our initial broadcasts and have taken the time to reflect on how we can improve for the future. Traditionally, College VALORANT featured 4 simultaneous broadcasts with 2 casters per region. Our team aimed to deliver something innovative that provided comprehensive coverage of all teams, focusing on important moments in a sustainable manner. This led us to adopt a red zone style approach, similar to traditional sports broadcasts, which we believed would achieve our goals. While the execution of our first broadcast did not go as planned, we have worked closely with our talent to make significant improvements between each event." In spring, Hybrid Val identified a pricing discrepancy between the CVAL 2022-2023 season and the 2023-2024 season. Recall back to the initial announcement from RSAA, which stated that the competitions would remain largely the same as previous years, which included equal scholarship prizes as previous seasons. But as Hybrid pointed out, the CVAL pricing went down more than 5 times from the amount that it was last year. In 2023, the championship pricing was just over $104,000, compared to the just over $18,000 for 2024. Meanwhile, the CLoL pricing, $190,000, did not see a change from 2023 to 2024. On the note of pricing, Riot and GGTech shared, "Our goal is to create a sustainable ecosystem for collegiate esports, which requires us to scale and adjust the prize pool accordingly. The changes reflect our ongoing efforts to ensure that the ecosystem remains healthy and can continue to grow. As the sport evolves, we continuously evaluate and adjust various aspects, including prize pools, to maintain a balance that supports long-term viability and growth. We are committed to supporting collegiate esports and will make further adjustments as necessary to foster a thriving and sustainable environment for all participants." On why the CVAL pricing was affected and CLoL's pricing was not, Riot and GGTech shared, "The adjustment in the CVAL pricing was made to align the prize pools for Valorant with other competitions within our ecosystem. By aligning the prize pools, we aim to maintain a balanced and fair competitive landscape across all our esports titles. We are continuously evaluating various factors to determine what is best for keeping the ecosystem healthy and sustainable. This includes making necessary adjustments to prize pools and other resources. We remain committed to supporting both CVAL and CLoL and will continue to make adjustments as needed to ensure the long-term viability and growth of collegiate esports." In the span of 3 days, RSAA and GGTech dropped 2 bombshell announcements that sent both the CLoL and CVAL communities into a frenzy. On April 16th, RSAA announced that the CVAL and CLoL Live Championship would not be hosted at Riot Studios, as it had been in previous years. The CLoL and CVAL Championship would be hosted in Boise, Idaho. The announcement reads, "Hosting this event on a university campus aligns with the spirit of the competition, while fostering a connection between the top collegiate teams and the local esports community, including high school students from the Boise area interested in participating in future collegiate competitions." The community response to the announcement was mixed. Some applauded the decision as a step in the right direction for school buy-in. Flizzy Fletch, Senior Director of Global Gaming Operations at USO, wrote, "This is going to feel like a step down to a lot of folks, but long-term, this is without a doubt the right move. Drives buy-in for programs and universities to invest in their facilities and program capabilities. Creates exciting storylines for power schools to host championships." Others were disappointed with the decision. Tony Chow wrote, "One of the most exciting things during my CLoL runs was competing to have a chance to play on the LCS stage." Shogo wrote, "Students work hard all year to get to LA. Our best memories aren't just being on stage and competing, it's getting to LA. Having professional photo shoots at Riot, doing interviews, hanging out with casters, pros, and production people at the studio." On the bright side, Boise State University is known for being one of the more prominent esports schools, with their 7,000 square foot esports arena that features an elevated stage with lighting, theater-style seating for over 65 people, a state-of-the-art broadcast studio, and practice area. And while many expressed their disappointment, others felt confident that Boise State and their director of esports, Doc Haskell, would make the best of the situation. Lucas Hayworth, director of esports at Oklahoma Christian, shared, "Boise State esports and Haskell will do everyone right as much as they possibly can. Boise is a very nice city, and they very easily could have done worse. I'm glad that the event will be in good hands." Doc Haskell himself wrote, "I'll give myself an ulcer to make this the best possible experience for the players. When we heard it wasn't being held at Riot Studios, we bid for it because we love it." On moving the finals to Boise State, GGTech shared, "Moving the finals to a college campus provided us with a unique opportunity to take greater responsibility for the event by collaborating with colleges and other organizations in the space. We believe opportunities like this not only create great experiences for students, but also allow us to involve more of the community and develop a more sustainable product in the long term. We are very grateful to Boise State University for taking the first steps in this direction with us. And there are plenty of aspects to build on for future events." We recognize the prestige of playing on the same stage as the pros in Los Angeles and are committed to finding ways to create the same level of excitement for both students and schools in future events. Aside from the venue change, many expressed disappointment in the fact that only the top 2 teams from each game will be competing on LAN. As aforementioned, in the 2023 spring season, the CLoL teams attending LAN decreased from top 8 to the top 4. Now, those numbers would halve once again. But the announcements from University Esports did not stop coming. On April 19th, just 3 days later, RSAA and GGTech shared news of their new co-streaming program, which would replace official broadcast coverage of CVAL Spring Finals and the broadcasts leading up to the overall championship finals of both CVAL and CLoL. The announcement reads, "We believe this co-streaming program will introduce new experiences, fans, and institutions. This initiative marks a pivotal moment in redefining the collegiate esports viewing experience. By listening to your feedback, we will make the viewing of matches more accessible while fostering a community for everyone involved." It goes on to state, "The championship grand finals' broadcast will remain unaffected. While we understand the concerns, this new pivot in direction will enable us to better support co-streamers and provide more live coverage to fans. We strongly believe that with these changes, we will be able to create more opportunities for students and grow the fandom, while also providing an increase in opportunities for all." So, what is this new pivot to co-streaming? According to the announcement, it will give members of the community and our partners an opportunity to provide live coverage of CLoL and Valorant matches. If accepted as a co-streamer, partners will receive a University Esports graphics package, social media flyer templates, promotion on official social media pages and/or website, live clean feeds with observers, access to observe live games, and community giveaways. It is implied in this announcement that co-streamers will not be compensated for providing live coverage of CLoL or CVAL. On the pivot to co-streaming, GGTech shared with CEN, "As we addressed internal processes and resolved technical issues, we remained committed to supporting and listening to the community." One clear piece of feedback we received was that the schools and students within the community felt well positioned to deliver broadcasts through co-streaming. This aligned with our core value of providing students with opportunities to gain industry experience. With this in mind, GGTech opted to launch a co-streaming program complete with resources to help co-streamers deliver content. They continued, writing, "We are keen to continue growing the co-streaming program to make it more effective and to encourage more students, schools, and community groups to cover CLoL and CVAL, involving those who have engaged with us throughout the season. As the sponsorship situation improves over time, we will review how we can approach the co-streaming program along with in-house broadcasts so that we achieve the correct balance of supporting community storytelling and reaching commercial goals. This includes providing more opportunities for upcoming talent, which we understand has been impacted by these changes. So it is a continued commitment of ours to provide valuable experience to those who are starting their journeys as talent, as we did with our talent selection throughout the season, including the finals." For CLoL, Hawkcasts and Speedygrapes started a GoFundMe to broadcast as many of the CLoL streams as they can. In his announcement, Hawkcasts shared, "Speedygrapes and I offered to produce a professional quality stream for every game of CLoL 2024. GGTech declined. If they won't do an official stream, we'll do it ourselves. But we can't do it alone, and certainly not for free." The community was successful in raising over $10,000 out of their $13,500 goal. In the fundraiser description, Hawk shared, "At Salty Runback, we believe that every game deserves to be streamed and that every player deserves to have their story told. However, we also believe that everyone should be paid." He shared that they needed at least $6,300 to broadcast the double elimination portion and $13,500 to stream every single match of the entire tournament. They also shared a detailed breakdown of their budget proposal. We got to talk to Speedygrapes, and this is what he had to say.
I've been following Collegiate League of Legends, I think, for around 4 years now, and every year, not only was the live finals something that I always look forward to, but getting to watch the top 32 matches as well was always something that was super important to me. And every year, there were broadcasts and streams that were provided by Riot and whatever third-party organizer was helping them for that specific year to cover those March Madness elimination games, because Collegiate is about so many different players and teams, and not always just about the teams at the top. There's so many other stories that can be told before you get to that grand finals, before those teams even make it to the live event. And I thought that that was always a really exciting tournament to follow, an exciting part of the event to follow. And so when we heard that GGTech was not going to be funding a broadcast for the top 32 onward, and only would be covering the live finals, obviously we were very disappointed. Hawk and I came to GGTech with an offer to provide broadcast coverage. Fortunately for us, they did not have the budget to, support that. And so we decided to try to create some budget of our own by creating this GoFundMe. And we know that there are a lot of very passionate community members in the space who would hopefully be interested in helping us, as well as perhaps some schools and other organizations that could be interested in coming on as sponsors or partners with us. And the amount of support that we got was way more than anything we could have ever imagined. We did not expect to come close to hitting our goal within that first couple of days, but as soon as we launched the project that night, we already hit our first goal, which would have been enough to fund the top 8 broadcasts and onwards. So that was really great to see, and it was a really cool opportunity to see what the community could do when they banded together for something like this. And I'm glad that other people also found value in getting these games streamed. There was a ton of awesome matches that happened in this CLoL bracket, especially with the new format changes, that would just have not been covered if it wasn't for the opportunity that we were given. So we were very grateful and appreciative of the community for giving us that. Players and their loved ones and families are the ones that are most important for getting these games broadcasted. And I got the chance to talk to a couple of different parents of players and different people as well, and just getting to see how much that our broadcast meant to them was really touching, and made this whole project worth it. We also got some great partnerships from Ole Miss, who was a school that was competing in the event, as well as Gen G, who is, of course, both a professional esports team in South Korea, but also hold a lot of collegiate initiatives across the North American space as well. And so getting support from both of those organizations was really awesome, and getting to work with them both was great.
But even the GoFundMe had mixed reactions from the community. Alk Battery shared, "As much as I have my own personal thoughts on funding our own broadcast due to a massive failure on a corporation, it's quite beautiful that the community rallied behind it and raised $7,000 in 4 hours. I hope we never do this again. No more freebies." A critic shared, "Honestly, this is like the worst thing possible to do, not gonna lie. Collective bailing out the corporations with free marketing and advertisement is just going to incentivize them to do it again." Hawk and others stand tall on their take that they're supporting the players and community, fixing the issue of CLoL 2024 rather than helping GGTech. Bringing the community together to tell a story on behalf of the players and paying talented professionals to do so is never the worst possible thing to do. The company may act in bad faith. They may not. But I will never apologize for lifting the community when it's needed. On the criticisms, Speedygrapes had this to say.
In terms of some of the backlash and conversation that was held around this, there definitely was that hesitation to quote-unquote bail out GGTech for not putting on a broadcast. But we hope that the community sees that, the success of what we were able to do was not necessarily because of GGTech, but because of the work that the community was able to put around us and the project that we believed in. And so we definitely are not going to be doing a project like this again, just because of the fact that it creates a bit of a dangerous precedent for what this could become. We hope that because this was GGTech's first year in North America, they're still getting their feet on the ground here in this region specifically. We've seen the work that they've been able to do in other regions when they have a little bit more resources, and so we hope that as this partnership continues to grow, emphasis on the broadcast will continue to increase as well, and there will hopefully be more opportunities for that to happen in a more official capacity. I think there's a lot of great people that are working on the CLoL CVAL project right now. Garrett Meyerson just got promoted to be the product lead of CLoL and CVAL moving forward here in North America, and he's somebody that I've worked with closely for a number of years, and somebody I really trust to bring a lot of good stuff to the landscape into the space. And I thought that in terms of tournament organization and things like that, this was one of the most fun, entertaining formats that we've ever had, with the double elimination and the best of fives all throughout the month. And from what I've heard, there is plans to keep some of those best aspects moving forward, and so I'm really excited about that.
On April 23rd, Collegiate VALORANT Hub announced their own fundraiser to raise money to stream the entirety of CVAL Championships 2024. Their GoFundMe stated a similar desire to highlight the players and compensate their talent and production staff. Unfortunately, the campaign was not as successful, and they were only able to raise $225 of the $8,500 goal. Despite not reaching their goal, Collegiate VALORANT Hub ran a fully volunteer-based production, streaming every top 8 game. Rare Atom Casts shared, "While we cannot compensate for this project, we're hoping that our efforts spur GGTech to invest more into the collegiate VALORANT space in the future." The CVAL and CLoL finals were hosted at Boise State University in Idaho on June 8th and 9th. We caught up with a couple of competitors, talent, and spectators to find out how the event went. St. Louis University Esports director Nick Chiu shared, "Playing at the tournament was okay from a competitor standpoint. I felt rulings and oversight were very loose, which would be a bigger problem if we were competing against a team that wasn't Maryville. If we weren't friends with each other and trusted that neither of us would cheat, it would have been very easy to watch the opponents and say things while the match is going on, which sets a really bad precedent for future events." On the venue, Nick shared, "It's definitely less extravagant than LCS Studios, which we played at the year before, but Boise was really accommodating. The city itself is so nice, which I think the players really liked. Our biggest issues are non-Riot standard setups. The monitors were inconsistent models and were 27 inches. Riot sent out a private RFP and settled with Boise, so it's not Boise's fault. But the lack of consideration towards what is supposed to be standardized regulation across all Riot events feels really bad. And it was pretty cramped. Players were basically right next to each other. The Boise State stage is pretty small." NabberTV, game coordinator for TAMU VALORANT, shared, "The live event portion went pretty well. There were a couple problems with stream things, like replays not working properly and such, but that just happens. It was fun having a crowd to play for and such." On the venue, Nabber shared, "The venue was nice. I was genuinely surprised by it for an esports school venue. The stage was a little small as my team ran into problems to try and make everyone comfortable with the amount of space they had for their mousepad. But besides the stage, the PCs were great, the venue atmosphere was great, and having a live crowd is always appreciated." We also got to talk to Speedygrapes, who casted at the event, and this is what he had to say.
So I was very grateful to be given the opportunity to go work the grand finals. It was something that I was able to do as a member of the desk last year, and so getting to go and work on it again in 2024 as a play-by-play caster was super exciting. Felt like it was a nice way to cap off the year and the project that we had around the collegiate space. Was a lot of fun. I know that there was a lot of discourse about the event being in Boise, and obviously the Boise State Esports Arena was not the same as the LCS studio, and I don't think anybody was expecting it to be. But I really do want to applaud the BSU squad for the work that they did to make sure that this event was able to run, and I think that they put so much hard work, so much blood, sweat, and tears into that program and into making this show as close to that professional great experience as you could hope for a collegiate run broadcast. And it was really awesome to see all these students and all these members of that esports program working together on a project like this. It did, of course, come with some of its flaws. I think that there were times where you could tell that it was a bit more of a student-run broadcast compared to in past years with Riot. There were some audio issues, obviously, but that's all going to come, and some observer issues, but that's all going to come with moving things onto a college campus and giving those students that opportunity. So it is a bit of a trade-off, and hopefully there is more of a balance that's able to come through in the next couple of years. But I do like the idea of these events being on college campuses, and overall Boise was a great experience. The city was great, the campus was really nice to explore, and everybody that we got to work with was really awesome. So
overall, while there were some critiques from the competitive standpoint, the overall sentiment around the venue was that the stage was small but Boise was accommodating, and the program staff were striving to give everyone a good experience. While St. Louis and TAMU Esports should have been celebrating their hard-won victories after a challenging semester of competition, On July 8, 2024, Nick Chiu revealed that it was on SLU to foot the bill if they wanted their own CLoL trophy. Pierce Ray, president of TAMU Esports, shared a similar sentiment, tweeting, "Starting a GoFundMe for the TAMU Esports CVAL trophy." Pierce shared emails with the Riot prop company that stated, "Pierce, congrats on the win. We can absolutely produce a CVAL duplicate replica trophy for your team here to celebrate the event. This would be $10,350 plus $100 shipping. This would be an exact replica of the Riot trophy with the team name included on the front." In a further email, the prop company shared that they could make a reduced quality variant with lower fidelity than the Riot trophy for approximately 40% less. This version would still cost over $6,000. In a DM with a representative from College Esports News, Chiu shared that the CLoL trophy would be $6,850 for the base and an additional $2,750 for the chrome finish. Chiu shared a tweet from RSAA official from February 2023 that says, "To commemorate our past champions, the RSAA had replica CLoL trophies made for our past NA College League of Legends champions. Moving forward, champions will receive trophies to take home after their win." Many have pointed out that the cost of the trophy is more than the first place scholarship prizing. $3,000 for first place in CVAL, and $10,000 per player for first place in CLoL. Others have drawn parallels to traditional athletics. Clerky shared, "As far as I know, in sports, if teams want replicas, they have to foot the bill. But it needs to be understood that collegiate is not at a place where programs can afford it. This year, we spent several $1,000s on rings for our players. I think long-term, the burden will be on programs, but it shouldn't be right now. A trophy is a living memory of an entire season worth of triumphs and failures. It is so important teams get trophies sent." On July 10th, Tiza, a former Riot employee, tweeted that he started a fundraiser to get TAMU and SLU Esports their trophies. TAMU and SLU were informed after winning that Riot would not be paying for their trophy replicas, as they had done for all prior years as teams, due to cuts. Funds will be split across both programs to cover the costs of trophy creation, chrome plating, team customization, and shipping. As you may have guessed, this GoFundMe had criticisms around it. A critic shared, "We have got to stop subsidizing poorly run collegiate stuff. First we have to raise money to even fund a stream for the collegiate Riot tournaments, now we have to raise money for the trophy." Pierce Ray chimed in, writing, "I'm actually not a fan of trying to get a trophy funded because I think GGTech and anyone involved should be owning up to it. But I'm also in the business of making sure my players get what they deserve. I think there should be a point where the company realizes they can't produce a properly ran collegiate event and cut themselves off." To sum up some final points in a back and forth under the GoFundMe, while people are disappointed with GGTech's debut, there may be more to the story, with Riot dropping CLoL and CVAL into their laps with allegedly little transition. Tiza shared, "NA leadership told the Scholastic team that we would have their full support behind spending our resources on ensuring a smooth transition, or at least finding smart ways to lessen the impact. Instead, they gutted the team and sent GGTech on their way." Going back to the trophy, in an update on July 22nd, Tiza shared, "I have been told that some rioters are pressing for leadership to pay for the trophies on behalf of the teams. If that is the case, I will be refunding all donations with my sincerest gratitude. I am in touch with both teams and will be confirming with them if there is any update on Riot's side." Riot responded to College Esports News' request for a comment on the trophy controversy. They confirmed that GGTech was not involved with the decision regarding the trophy. Riot stated, "Unfortunately, we had to make the difficult decision not to provide trophy replicas directly, and at that point, we offered the option for schools to order their own replicas. However, we have heard the community and understand the importance of the winning teams having something tangible to proudly display their achievement. With that in mind, we are actively exploring alternatives to offer something that teams can display. We want to find a long-term solution and are considering various options to ensure that it meets the needs and expectations of the teams. It will take some time to finalize what this will look like. We appreciate everyone's understanding and patience as we navigate these changes and strive to enhance the overall experience for all participants." When asked about GGTech's plans for responding or adapting to community feedback, GGTech shared, "We have received a wide range of feedback from various surveys and conversations with students, schools, and other stakeholders. which we are taking into consideration. We are currently finalizing plans for the upcoming season and will be reaching out to the RSAA Advisory Board, leaders in the space, and other community organizations that have provided invaluable feedback so far, before making any formal announcements. While we may not be able to implement all of the changes the community has requested, we will continue to adapt the product as resources become available and focus on investing in the areas that the community values most. Our goal is to grow and improve the product for the long term. On what's next for CLoL and CVAL, GGTech shared, there are two major areas we aim to improve next year. First, we want to provide more transparency with the community about what to expect in advance. We recognize that we had to make some fundamental changes during the season due to the evolving nature of the ecosystem. However, we want those committing to our competition to have clear expectations. Second, we plan to provide more consistency between both College League of Legends and College VALORANT, where it makes sense. Details on how we will achieve this will be announced in due course. Our goal is to ensure that the communities of both games feel they are receiving the same level of respect they deserve. With this chapter of CLoL and CVAL closing, we will have to see what RSAA and GGTech have in store for the fall semester. And while there were plenty of bumps in the road and potential growing pains for the community, all we can do is hope that University Esports listens to the community's feedback and adapts for the next semester. If you did compete in the 2023 to 2024 CVAL or CLoL season, be sure to fill out the feedback form posted in the respective competitive Discord servers. What did you think about all this? Let us know in the comments below, and let us know what you think GGTech could do to improve upon for their next year running both CLoL and CVAL. And be sure to follow for more college esports news deep dives.